Anything could happen.
I don't know.
Anything could happen.
Wait a second. Because I mean, all that means is that like I'm not hitting the start stream button from my Twitch studio, which means I can't use my fancy little layout of
Okay.
like nothing. Oh my god, it's actually saying I'm live.
Oh. Okay.
You know, well, we're gonna see how this goes.
Okay.
Because when I did this the first time,
Uh-huh.
with Kate Sarkisian, I
Uh-huh.
did it like through the Twitch studio, and like
Uh-huh.
I have, if people are watching it on Twitch, they'll have like a very faint background music that I selected. Right now, I've got like Persona 5 jazz
Eek.
cafe music going on in the background.
Oh, I like that song.
Yeah, so I don't know if people will hear it if they go to the Twitch stream, but
I want to sing it so badly, but if it's overlaid, I can't. I don't want to be dissonant, so I'm just gonna hum it in my head.
okay. In any case, this says I'm live. Hello,
Yay!
welcome to welcome to another
Hi.
episode of Cosplay Bites, the show about cosplays, conventions, and all the nerdy bits and bytes. You just got that little snapshot. I am here, as you can see, with my bestie Mink.
Hello. How's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
I am super tired.
Oh no,
Well, I mean, conventions have that effect on people.
that is absolutely true. I'm just like lowering the music on my headphones so that I don't get like blasted out, so I can make sure I can hear you. Okay.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um. Yeah. So before we start, complimentary sip of my coffee.
Coffee not spawn.
Mm. Um. Yeah. So as you just heard, Mink mentioned that cons take it out of you. This is true because we both were at PAX East 2023 this
Woo!
past weekend.
Woo!
I missed you and I miss everyone else I saw.
You
Like,
know, it's funny, there's something really bizarre that's happening for me right now. Um, I haven't gone through, like, the post-con sads that I usually go through, but I think it's just because at this juncture, I see so many people virtually now, and I'm just like, "Yeah, okay, I'll just see you all online. I I'll
that's
just wait
true.
till you're streaming."
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know what to make of it, but I'll take it because anytime I'm not suffering post-con sads, that's a good time.
This is absolutely true. Yeah, because I literally like I got to like so I left Sunday morning and then I got to
Mm.
see you the next day virtually, quote unquote, because you were
It's
streaming
true.
Delta
I
Run.
was streaming. I can
Yeah.
confirm this.
You ca-
I was there.
I
It
was
was
streaming.
me. It
Did
was me
I
all
had an
along.
I had an out of body experience.
Oh my god, I was there.
Oh my god. Uh, so I have notes of stuff that I did.
Oh,
You probably
nice.
have notes mentally in your head
Yeah,
about
you
what
know I
you
don't
did.
take notes. Notes are not my jam. I mean, notes are
Oh,
my jam when I'm studying, but not when I'm recalling events, which is
okay.
probably why my recollection of events is a little fuzzy.
Okay. All right. So, um, for those who were not aware, PAX East is short for Penny Arcade Expo.
Mhm.
Still going strong. I believe this was they're saying this was like the 10th East.
No, I think this was 11.
Okay, but then they were
This
saying
one goes to 11.
this one, well, I think they were saying this was the 50th just PAX in general.
Was it really? Well, that makes sense. That tracks because at this point, there's the original, which used to be PAX Prime, but now they call it PAX West. There's PAX East. There's PAX South, which is in Texas, and then there's PAX Australia. But I don't know if they're counting PAX Unplugged as part of that too, which I
Hmm.
think is in Pennsylvania.
Also, didn't PAX South like kind of end?
Did
One of the
it?
South or
Did
West got
it?
canned. Like just stopped
No, it
happening.
can't be. Well, it can't be West because West is in Seattle, and Seattle is the hometown of the like, of the creators of PAX. Like,
Either
that's the OG PAX, so it
right.
can't be Prime.
Either Stout got either canned completely or it just missed a year recently. I don't know what I'm remembering.
Oh my gosh, no way! That's wild. I have
Yeah.
not heard that, but I also have not been to PAX South, so
No.
I wouldn't know. I just know that PAX Australia is also a thing.
Yeah. Have you ever been to any other PAXs besides East?
Yeah, I got paid to go to, PAX Prime.
Which is West.
Yes, which is now West. At the time, it was still Prime.
Oh, okay. Very nice. How'd that go?
Um, it was interesting because the venue space is far more, what's the word I'm looking for? Sprawling. It's much more sprawling. So you know how at PAX East there's an A, B theaters and there are C and D theaters.
Right.
At West, it goes to H. It
Goes
goes to
to
H.
goes to H?
There are a
Oh.
lot more. Well, this tracks because in Seattle, which is on the West Coast, they have buildings are longer, not taller, if that makes sense. You know,
Mm.
because earthquakes
Mm.
would be my guess. So there were just it was a little bit easier for me to get lost at PAX West,
Aha. Okay.
but attendance was generally the same.
Mm. Yeah. So you were there all 4 days, sort of. I know
No, I
you're.
was not there all 4 days. I
No,
was
no,
only
no. I'm
there.
sorry. Friday to Sunday.
Yeah, yeah, that's
That's what
because
I meant.
unfortunately, I can't take 2 consecutive days off from work. I was lucky enough to take Friday off from work. I
Wow.
couldn't take that Thursday as well, unfortunately. I did have a 4-day badge, but that doesn't mean nothing.
That doesn't mean. Oh God. Yeah. I got my new job was very accommodating in that
That's
like
great.
we get it. Stuff happened. You already booked it. That's fine.
I didn't even tell my job. I just told them, "Hey, I ain't gonna be here on Friday. I get 3 days out of the school year that I get to say that. This is one of
Mm.
them."
Okay.
And they were like, "Righto then."
um. So you did panels.
I did.
I tried out as many as I could. I sadly had to miss two of them, two of my media appointments, which I felt bad about
Uh-huh.
because I wanted to spend more time seeing people because
Were
Saturday was
they
my last.
people that you had planned on going to interview, or were they panel events that you had planned on covering?
They were media appointments that I booked,
Oh, no.
so that's
Were you
why.
able to, like, apologize and all that stuff?
No, no,
Oh,
I
you should probably double back and do that.
I probably should. Oh,
Yeah, that's
jeez.
write that down.
Yeah, it was with Moon Eye Studios,
Uh-huh.
and it was actually with Riot, with League of Legends, with their new game that they were showing off.
Wait, Riot was even at PAX?
They were in a different building. They had a panel detailing their new
They were in a
spin-off.
different building? At PAX East, like, what is the point? Wait, what? They were in a different building?
So Riot was there to show off their spin-off game called The Mage Seeker, which was kind of like this. I hear it was like a 2D action adventure roguelike kind of thing where it was starring one of the champions of the game, but they had their demo at oh god, it was like the Waterfront Hotel across the street from the convention center.
Oh, that's not really okay, okay, to clarify, the Waterfront Hotel isn't across the street, it is literally next to. They technically attach at certain places.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
sky bridge that attaches the Westin Waterfront Hotel to the Boston Convention and Expo Center. It's not across the street, it's, like, across the way, but you do actually have to leave the property of the BCEC to get to the Westin Waterfront, and
Right.
the Westin Waterfront itself did not require badge access. So, a little bit Riot was doing some dirty poker there, because
Yeah.
they, like, they didn't wanna pay PAX prices to exhibit, so they just had to pay Hotel price.
They
Oh.
yeah, and I
Oh, oh,
maybe
mommy.
that could be, and well, they also had a panel to show off the exact same game
Was
that they
that
were
also at the
showcasing.
Waterfront Hotel?
No, that was at the convention center, I believe.
Oh, huh. Well, it costs nothing to submit a panel. In fact, if anything, submitting and getting a panel approved gives you free badges. So good
Yeah,
for
I
them.
tried and I
Good for
failed.
them.
I tried and I failed. So maybe next
This
year.
is okay, but to be fair, this is to me finding out that Riot did in fact have presence at PAX is such a mind-blowing moment for me because previous years, and I'm saying like this is like pre-pandemic and even pre-pandemic. In
Yeah.
previous years, Riot had giant booths and they
Oh yeah,
had
they
this
were the
like
showstopper.
they had a giant room that was literally dedicated for cosplay and cosplay lounge and repair. And it was like multiple years in a row. I think it was like they did it for maybe 3 or 4 years and it was bopping. That's where all the cosplayers went, like and they weren't running any events that were cosplay events per se, but they just had a an a lounge for cosplayers to just rest. They had snacks, they had water, they had a
Yeah.
repair station, they had, like, a very cool backsplash, the league backsplash that you could take your photos against, like, they treated your cosplayers right.
Mm,
So I was very sad when they stopped having that. A lot of gamers were very sad when they stopped having the, the booth, the giant booth at on the expo floor. So I'm just kind of giggling because I didn't realize that Riot was, in fact, near
yeah.
PAX, just not at PAX.
Yeah.
They were suspiciously adjacent to
Yeah,
PAX.
they were hiding in the shadows.
Dirty poker. You heard it here first. Dirty poker.
Dirty poker. So that whole thing kind of just made me realize, like, for next year to just better plan my days. In
Yeah.
addition to, like, first and foremost, book a closer hotel, because then I could have probably stayed on Sunday a lot longer than I originally planned.
A lot of
Um,
people I know wound up booking their hotel through to the next day.
through Monday, yeah,
Yeah, just because, what happens is when folks book their hotels and this is true for any con, not just for PAX. When you book your hotel, most hotels have a checkout by 11 AM policy, which
yes,
means that you need to have all of your stuff packed, ready to go, and out of your hotel by 11 AM. Now, most convention goers will tell you 11 AM is when you wanna wake up on Sunday, not when you
yeah,
wanna be out of your hotel room.
yeah.
So, it is more costly, unfortunately, but a lot of folks I know who don't wanna go through that struggle will just be like, "Oh, screw it,
I.e.,
I'm
what
just
I
paying
did,
for the
yeah,
next night." I'm just paying for the next night, even if I check out early. There's 0 penalty if I do not sleep there Sunday night. They do not care.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if they keep going the way they think they're going, I'll have maybe more money to blow and book another night. Because add in the fact that my hotel was a 30-minute walk.
Why did you do that to yourself?
I don't know, because the other kind of cons were the other hotels were more expensive
Okay, that's fair.
at the time when I didn't have my new job.
Yeah, you know what? That's
So I
fair.
was I would kind of just like, just do it. You'll be fine. It's your exercise for the day. Who cares if your
Feel like
feet
there's
hate
a
you?
narrator speaking over here being like, "He was not, in fact, fine."
I ended up using the shuttle bus, I think, on the first day because I left very late.
A
I left, I
lot of
think, at
people used shuttle bus, but that was because there is construction in Boston, ironically timed for exactly when the convention was,
oh, is that how
and
that's how it
that
always is.
knocked out no, it knocked out a lot of the T, their transit system or, like, or convenient transit system. It knocked out
Mhm.
a lot of the T, services, so the city had to provide shuttles as an alternative. But when you compare one shuttle capacity versus the capacity of an entire train, you're gonna have a difference. So I think a lot of people had some challenges. We're gonna call them challenges, just getting to the
Mm,
event.
right. So at the end of the day, just if if the developers happen to be watching this, I don't know how they would, but to the people at Moon Eye Studios and Riot, please forgive me for missing the media appointments. I wanted to see my friends, so I might just casually like, oh, good, I am live. Okay, good, good. I just casually just walked over to the Twitch website on my channel. Am I really live? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
So with that note, I don't know if we want to start with me detailing some of the games I did play, or do you want to start with your panels?
You tell me. This is your show. I am just here for the ride.
Okay, that is very true. Um, so then why don't we start with I think I had 2 appointments on Thursday to Friday, so we can start with that. Yeah, we can start with that. I like tore out the pages of my little notebook because it's falling apart. Whatever. These pages are not going to live much longer anyway. Um, One of the first games I tried was from Whitethorn Games.
Ooh, I know that studio. Which game did you try?
I tried Botany Manor.
Oh, you did. I didn't get a chance to demo it. How
Yeah,
was it?
it was really relaxing, and I mean, I had some dumb moments of figuring out the puzzles, but then when I had the I think it was like the communication director sitting next
Uh-huh.
to me, like explaining the game, and she was explaining stuff, and I was like, "Oh yes, duh, I'm dumb. Sorry."
So,
So it's
Whitethorn Games as a studio, genuinely, my impression of them over the last like 365 days, because the first time I learned about them was PAX East 2022, has been that they specialize in casual games as well as puzzle games.
yes,
And the new offerings of games that they had to demo at PAX 2023 follows that very closely. So from the games that I
ab-
saw as well, it just seems like they know what they want. They wanna really hone in on that, like, no
yeah,
stress, chill vibes
no stress.
only
Oh my
sorta
god,
thing, and it is very successful.
I
I There are a
felt.
couple of games from that studio that I'm quite enamored with.
Well, did you play Witchwood?
So I never played Witchwood, but every one of my friends swears by it, so
I
it's on my
st-
to-do list.
I streamed it last year when they were nice enough to give me a free copy after I tried it out
Nice.
at PAX
Oh, good for
East
you.
last year, and it was just the storybook art style was gorgeous. The
Well,
music was
the top 3 that I got to play with were, I never know if I'm pronouncing it right, Apico?
Apico,
Yeah.
the B
Yeah,
game.
the B game. The B game, then there's Calico, which is the cat game, is
Aha.
another, like, comfy cozy game, and then a game that I demoed, but I'm gonna do the full stream of, or, like, the full playthrough of, that I'm really excited about is Recall, and that came out in January, and I have
Mm,
been looking forward to that game since last PAX, but a friend of
yeah.
mine and I wanna play it together, so we've just been like ships in the night trying to col find out when our schedules align.
Right. So Botany Manor, it's an exploration puzzle game. You play as a botanist, and you're solving puzzles to grow a variety of flowers that I believe you're getting sent from your friends, or like flowers that you're growing from your travels. Um,
It sounds so cozy.
the I guess the people that were developing the game just had a love of plants, and they also, I think they had, from what I've written down, had experience in like going to a manor,
Huh,
or even I think maybe like a bot. Well, the person that developed this was a botanist, or is a
okay, well, that
botanist.
tracks.
Um, Yeah, calming music, gorgeous visuals. Um,
So
you're
comfy,
just
cozy,
growing.
lo-fi vibes.
Yeah, you're essentially growing flowers throughout this entire area. So I actually wanted to reach out back to the girl that I talked with, to ask more questions because I just came up with some like
Well,
a
you can
couple days
also
later.
join the Whitethorn Discord. Um, I've been on their Discord for a little while now, and it's a pretty hopping community of folks. They ask questions, folks get back to you pretty quickly. So, it's very easy to join the Discord because really all you have to do is to go to the Whitethorn, their page, like their website,
Yeah,
and they have a link pretty much straight away at the on the main page of their website to join their Discord. And that's been a great place to just like get info before it goes live elsewhere.
All right. Oh,
You
I'll have to
picked
check.
you picked a studio that I actually like know anything about or like have emails of some of the dev team. Like you picked the one studio I actually have connections to.
You
Good job. You made me sound smart. Everything from here on out, everything here is
You're gonna
gonna look
sound
like
really dumb.
I'm gonna sound so dumb by comparison.
um, the other studio that I went with. Now this threw me by a
Please
loop.
God be
Okay,
another studio that I know.
it's Prideful Sloth.
Bye everybody. That's my time.
So what's interesting is I was dumb in that I didn't keep the full email chain of when I made the appointment, when I got the booking, because apparently what I'm remembering is that so they showed off a brand new game that they announced literally I think a couple days ago at another gaming event that was
Okay.
going on around the same time.
All right.
And I think it wasn't mentioned in it either was mentioned and I bought into it or it wasn't, and I was just booked the appointment on the basis of their previous title that sounded really interesting to me.
Okay.
So this game is called Go Go Town,
Oh, I
and
didn't see that one, but there's a lot to say. So I'm not surprised that I missed a game title.
so this is a life sim town builder a la
Interesting.
Sims and Animal Crossing, where
Just kidding, I
you
did see that one.
yeah, okay. And you're essentially I mean, the demo build had you act as an employee of this like corporate entity that you I think you break off of in the game
Yes.
and you become the mayor of this town. Um so let me see what I have written down here.
So in that
It-
way, it's kind of like Animal Crossing New Leaf. Was New Leaf the one where you become mayor?
yes.
I don't think it was Wild World.
No, it wasn't. I think it
And
was
it's
New
definitely
Leaf.
not City Folk, so I'm pretty sure it was New Leaf that you
It was
become the
New Leaf. I
mayor.
didn't play New Leaf, but I'm pretty sure it was New Leaf.
Yeah, did I play New Leaf? No. No, I did not.
Let's see
I had to
here.
think about
So
that.
yeah, you are what do I have written down here? I mean the UI was a little bit clunky, but that was just for the demo purposes.
All the demos, especially like early dev demos, are gonna be clunky. There were a couple that I was like, oh, the graphics on this are very polygonal. Polygonal?
right.
Um, but like one of the ones that this was especially true for, they were like, yeah, the game's 3 months into dev. And I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant for 3 months into dev. Like when you put
Yeah.
it that way, this is brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. They told me that the game has been in development for a year. Um, you get fun ideas with choice. The visual style is extremely adorable. Um,
It does not take a lot for me to get on board with a game because visuals and comfy vibes will sail me through a lot when it comes to
oh,
clunky gameplay.
absolutely.
That being said, I hope that the gameplay for this was
Yeah,
intuitive.
you were essentially you were gathering materials to help either build resources for the buildings that you were building. For some, I think one thing where you made an arcade, then you made like a food stall.
Okay.
You recruit townspeople that visit your neighborhood or your town,
Yeah.
as well as other things that I think you can recruit. There are mummies that can live in your town. There are people that can turn into werewolves. You can recruit aliens.
All right. All
You can high
right.
five a
Interesting.
cow. You can
Okay. I don't
these are
really know how
all
that
the
works with hooves, but you know what?
these are
I
all the things
far
that
be it from me to question.
yeah, all the things I experienced during the demo. I actually with the person I talked with, we had a really hilarious controller talk about how we always get mixed up with the buttons
Mhm.
with like because I think we were doing it on an Xbox controller,
Yeah.
and I haven't played with an Xbox in years, so
I
I'm curious.
regularly play on an Xbox controller because that's the controller that I have hooked up to uh my computer for gaming.
Okay,
And yeah, I mix up buttons all the time.
yeah, and it was
Can
so
confirm.
that was really funny. Let me see here. What do I
Especially
have?
because if you play a Switch, and I know you do,
Yes,
The organization of the confirm versus cancel buttons on a Switch versus on an Xbox are two entirely like they are literally flip-flopped. So
absolutely.
if I play on my Xbox controller for like too many consecutive hours and then switch over to my Pro controller on my Switch, I'm just canceling out of everything left and right and vice versa for Switch to Xbox. So it is problematic, shall we
Yeah.
say. And don't even get me started because basically, and then by the time I get to the PS5, I'm sitting there being like, this is demon technology and I don't understand what button I'm supposed to press. So I guess I just won't because at least, at very least, the Xbox and the Switch use letters. You get to the PlayStation and you're like, well, you got to hit circle or maybe X, but maybe you have to hit triangle. And God help if you have to hit square. And I'm sitting here being like, I don't, why did shapes have to happen? Why
Why?
couldn't
Why
we
the
just keep it with
shapes?
letters? I get it, but I don't get it.
Oh my god.
I have a lot
Um,
of venom for controllers,
clearly. Um,
just so
you
much pent up
use
rage.
you got to use tools, so I got to use a chainsaw to chop down trees to get lumber. I got to use some kind of mining tool to mine rock for ore, for other to make clay, for other things, and it was really good. It was
That's good.
very calm. I felt bad because I think it was just because I was already tired in that point, and this was like somewhat. I think it was like in the afternoon, but I tried my best to stay incredibly interested. Like I again like talking with the developer was really nice. She was a really sweet lady. She gave me a goodie bag,
Oh, sweet.
as did all my media appointments did, but this one was and I basically in the goodie bag was a package of Tim Tams, and I was like, "Oh, you've given me fuel, thank you."
Yeah, I mean, fatigue sets in, man. Believe me, I get it.
um, the Whitethorn people, they gave me a nice little tote bag
Aw.
with a hat,
Oh,
and I'm just
cool.
sitting here like, I got like four as one, two, three, four tote bags. I'm just like, oh, good, more stuff for my move. Thank you.
Perfect.
Is wonderful. And the other game that I played, and then I can throw it over to you for a little bit before we get into the other remaining games that I played. But the last game that I'll mention for now, which was incredibly gorgeous, but is it my gameplay style? Absolutely not. It's called Strayed Lights, and what hooked me on this was the trailer and the fact that they they have Austin Wintory, the composer for games like Journey and Abzu.
Oh, nice.
He was the composer for this game. But I only knew him as one of the people that's on this other podcast that I really, really enjoy listening to.
Oh, I
So
love it when stuff like that happens. You're like, "I know them."
exactly. So that was kind of
That's cool.
you play as this like elemental kind of creature where you essentially you shift between blue light and red light,
Oh, neat.
and you're essentially fighting off these demons. I think you have to like retrieve something that was stolen from you at the start of the game, or like you gotta merge with somebody or something. I can't really remember, but as you're fighting enemies, it's essentially like Dark Souls, where you have to at the start parry attacks that your enemies throw at you, but the attacks that they throw at you, they have to match the color that you're on.
Oh, okay.
So
So there's a little bit of like Simon Says to this.
yeah, but then they'll switch, and then you have to switch, and then
Yeah.
then there are some points where you build up a meter to like use a finisher to automatically like take the enemy out of the game
This feels a little Bravely Defaulty.
a little bit, but it's like well it's an action adventure game.
I assume it's turn-based.
No, it's not.
Okay, I
No,
assumed wrong.
no, I mean like it's essentially a Souls game
Okay.
like Bloodborne or Dark Souls, where
Is
you're
it a third person perspective?
Yes.
Okay. Like
Yes.
over the shoulder sort of thing?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely. Yep.
excellent. Okay. I'm on board
Um.
now.
So yeah, the composer, the not the composer,
Music can
the
really make or break a game, like, not that the visuals and storytelling of Hollow Knight would not itself make the game successful, but, like, you cannot deny that the game goes from good to legendary because of the music.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Um. Yeah, the devs were really nice, and they said to let me know. They actually they actually gave me like an access code to like play the demo
Oh,
on
cool.
my laptop. But the
Yay.
problem is, and I'm wondering if that is the case, it's through Steam. I'm on a MacBook. Macs don't
Wait,
play games. That's the
wait,
joke.
really? That sucks.
Very few games are optimized for Macs on Steam.
Can you get, uh, like a Linux OS running through your laptop so that you can boot it with Linux and then run Steam through that?
Maybe I'd have to look into it. I mean I don't even know if Strayed Lights is Mac compatible or not. I just assume because that's literally every
How
single
dare you
freaking game on.
assume? How dare you assume? Do you know how many mobile games I saw at PAX that were like, "We are on for, iPhones, but we're not yet, up for Android." Like, "Okay. Well, good thing I've got an iPhone."
Um,
It's a lot is the answer.
so I've got.
Speaking of composers, though, we were just talking about, uh, who's got 2 thumbs and met the composer for, Cult of the Lamb? It me.
Oh, did you really?
Yes, and
Yeah.
he
So.
was such a wonderful being, like, seriously
Oh,
kind. He's
good.
also apparently the voice actor of the villagers, which is great because then he, like, proceeded to do some of the voices, which
Oh my
made
god.
just absolutely tickled me pink. I felt so bad because this guy was like we were, like, in a good convo, like, genuinely good conversation, like, the 2 of us were just getting really excitable at each other and
Yeah.
talking about how, like, I was like, "Oh, man, Cult of the Lamb's music was so good." I was really vibing to it. It was weirdly, like, I felt so calm listening to it. It was very, like, lo-fi to me, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, well, that's because I was inspired by, like, lo-fi hip hop music." And I was just like, "That's why." And so the 2 of us are
Right.
just like, like, chit-chatting, and then at some point, the other devs were like, "Buddy, buddy, you gotta go greet other people, like, come on." Like, he had stepped out from behind, like, the little dev table that they had. He was like, you gotta come back." So
Oh
I
my
felt really
god.
bad because he got technically, like I'm like, "Oh, no. I got the
You
musician
stole
in
him away
trouble."
for a little while. Yeah.
But that was a fun moment. I was like, "Oh, since we were just talking about music, let me just tell you this little brief little
Yeah.
something, something."
So
So,
well.
fun fact, the Cult of the Lamb composer also is the voice actor for, the villagers.
Wow.
The more
Yeah.
you know.
So speaking of, actually, that's a good segue into some of the booths that we both saw.
Mhm.
One of which, Go to the Lamb,
Yep.
otherwise through Devolver Digital. They had the standout booth this year, I think, because
Oh, it
it
was
was
so cool.
essentially made to look like one side. It was essentially made to look like a movie theater,
Yes.
but
One
then
side
like,
was made to look like a movie theater, the other side was made to look like a cultist altar.
yep, where you had
Both sides were excellent.
literally you had like candles to like mourn the dead villagers.
It was great.
it was
And
it
then
was
they had a mascot of the lamb, and that was
yes.
by far the best mascot. They didn't have the lamb mascot come out for too long, and I suspect it was just because the, mascot suit was just punishing, but it
Oh
was
god, yeah, I
very,
bet it
very
was.
well done.
Yeah. Um, Nintendo had a presence, not
Did
in what you would
they?
yeah, yeah, well,
Did
that's
they?
that's the thing, not in what you would well,
It's 'cause
no,
it's 'cause a new good Mario game was not coming out, but, like, considering that Tears of the Kingdom is coming out in May, like, they coulda done so much more.
it probably could have.
Well, they did, technically,
Well
do something because on the main like on the entrance hall
The lobby, yeah.
in the lobby, they did have like a giant statue of Link, like a life-size statue of Link, and you could like get in line to get your picture taken, and then you got like a pin for
Yep,
doing it.
I
I
got
did
one.
not wait in the line because the line was way too long.
I
So
think the line,
technically
yeah.
that was their hype for Tears of the Kingdom because they already have our money. They don't need to try
No,
for Breath of the Wild 2. They
no.
don't need to try and it shows. But that was also
Speaking
true
of,
the year that Sword and Shield came out. Because Pokemon Sword and Shield came out not too long after a PAX, I want to say in 2019, and they had a similar setup in the lobby of PAX East.
yeah. Well, speaking of, guess who said fuck it and bought the upcoming Zelda Special Edition OLED that they just announced?
You?
Yep.
I win. What do I win?
Yeah. I
Do I win the special edition?
no.
Oh, dang it.
I figured why the hell
Friendship
not?
over. I'm
Why
kidding.
oh no.
I'm kidding.
Well, so in addition to that, they had like other like sort of pop up booths where one booth was like, you sign into My Nintendo and you get a Splatoon bag.
Oh, yeah, I did see there
Um,
were a couple of things. There was like sign in with your Nintendo and get stuff.
yeah, and then they had
And
a
I have a Nintendo account. I could have. I was just so lazy. I was just like,
right.
first of all, no, I don't have time to wait in a line. I have things to look at. And then second of all, with what Wi-Fi? The service in the BCEC is notoriously rubbish.
No,
Sign
I
in,
actually had it
sign
pretty
in.
good.
Ha!
I had
I'm
it
jealous.
pretty good on their Wi-Fi. Not gonna lie.
My phone was every day I left the con, my phone was basically at, like, 2% battery life
Oh,
just
same here.
because just because it cost my battery so much mana trying to connect and reconnect onto the dang network. It
Yeah,
was and then when I gave up and it was just like, "Whatever, I'll just use my data," same story, different actors, like
yeah.
such a pain.
Lit-
BCEC eats cell phone batteries for breakfast.
literally, like the last day when I left the con, because most of my battery power went to the fucking GPS using Apple Maps to make
Oh,
sure
yeah,
I
that's fair.
I
Okay,
knew
that's
how to
fair.
get to make sure I knew how to get to my hotel. Literally, my phone was at 6% when I finally got to the restaurant that I was eating at on Saturday night,
Mm.
and it just so happened it was interesting. It was a 21 only bar, 21 over only bar. Um, they had me seated. Legit, my luck. The spot where they sat me, there was a spare outlet, and I was like, "Can I use this?"
Nice
And they're like,
you.
"Can I use this?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, go ahead." Like, thank you.
I'm surprised you even asked. I would've been like, "I'm here. I'm doing it. Okay, bye."
I just wanted to make sure because it looked like it was near something that
No,
was
that was kind.
connected.
That was considerate of you.
So I just wanted, and
I
then
don't
I
know
had
that I
two,
would have been as considerate. I would have been like, "Ask for forgiveness, not for permission."
and then I had two espresso martinis that night, and I was a happy boy.
You were buzzed in more ways than one.
I made sure I had a drink every single night because it's like this is my vacation, like my one con a year kind of thing. If I want to go all out, I'm gonna go all out.
Nice.
Um, before I dive into the other stuff that I'd done, which is only those two other sheets, and then I guess we can talk about. I guess we can talk about cosplay on the show called Cosplay Bite. Um, you had panels.
I did.
I believe you had two.
I had 3.
Okay, I was
Wa-da-da.
da da da.
Yeah, I had 3
Um,
panels, one of which I was the panel head, and the other 2 I was, an additional panelist.
okay.
So, the first panel I did chronologically, I was, a panelist, not the panel head, and that was the cosplay tools panel.
Hmm.
That was me, Rocket Props, who was the panel head, and V Cosplay. And we actually do at least a panel together every PAX. Thankfully,
Oh.
The people who decide on panels, for whatever reason, continue to approve specifically the panels where all three of us are on the ticket. Don't know why. Maybe it's because they just know that we are great and fun. The three of us together, actually, technically, there's four of us, because expletives and thread sometimes joins us too. But the four of us together form a group that we call Trash Fire Productions. So this was a Trash Fire Productions event.
All right.
Uh, it is technically a revision from a panel that we had done before. This was an advanced cosplay tools panel,
Okay.
and I think it went over very nicely. Poor Rocket is a little bit down on himself because he was hoping that we were going to get a little bit more in the weeds about like how to use the tools to do specific things. Whereas V and
Uh-huh.
I were like, no, I don't think we were going to have time for that. We were going to like introduce certain tools and why you might use them for various crafts, but we weren't going to get to spend a lot of time in the weeds with particular crafts because we were trying to cover tools that were used for foam work, sewing, working with leather, working with 3D prints, like painting. That's a very wide net we cast. So we were a
Yeah.
mile wide and inch deep. And I think Rocket would have liked to have had the opportunity to go a little bit deeper. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we're gonna have our own. So just for those of you who are unfamiliar with like what some people do for panel prep is we've met millions of times prior to the convention to like, you know, figure out what we were going to talk about, rehearse, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to have our debrief not next week because we're all a little bit too busy, but the week after. And I'm sure we're going to have so much to talk about for our debrief because one of the things that we do is because we've done panels together over and over again, sometimes we take the same panel and do it for other conventions. So these debriefs are wicked important because it gives us the opportunity to fine tune.
Right.
It's
Right.
good stuff though, and we always do a Q&A session. Q&A session went very nicely. People asked some really brilliant questions. Um, and then we usually hang out a little bit adjacent to the panel room after the convention in wherever the enforcers say is a safe place for us to stand. And then we usually chat people up or like answer follow-up questions after that. And it's always a good time. That's actually my favorite part of the panel is doing the Q&A because I crave interactions.
Oh man. Um, just
But
a
yeah, that
quick
was the first panel.
quick aside. I guess we got King Glacier in the chat. Hi,
Yo, what
King
up,
Glacier.
King?
Hope you're doing okay.
That's my buddy.
I know he's my buddy too, because he stops
Yay.
by my streams as well from time to time.
Yahaha.
Um, yeah. So that was panel number one.
Yep. Then panel number 2 was the one that I was in control of. I'm kidding. I was just the panel lead. And that was the VTubing panel. And I was very excited for that because we were the only VTubing panel at PAX again. Because last year we were the only VTubing panel. This year we were the only VTubing panel. So this one was kind of a like uh I named it I have my model now what? And the idea was to get people inspired by like things that you can do to enhance your stream, enhance your interactivity with your community. So a lot of it could also be applied for like, non VTube streamers, just like regular streamers as well. Um,
Right.
and I wound up having us run it a little bit differently than we had done before. So, last year we did a VTube panel and it was myself, Goggle Candy, Queenie BB, and Nimbus Gray. And this year it was the exact same crew back at it again. We've been calling ourselves Team V Force because apparently I can't be a panelist without having silly nicknames for ourselves. I regret nothing. So I thought we did a really nice job, and I can tell that a lot of people were really hungry for more VTubing stuff. So maybe next year I might have to propose doing like a how to make your own model sort of panel. I've done that before at smaller
Yeah.
cons, but I think it might have to happen at a larger con like PAX, and I know that it was a big hit because um, we had a lot of folks come and hang out and ask questions after the panel. Last year, we had so many people who wanted to ask questions that the enforcers wound up giving us a spare room, like one of the overflow rooms, and just having like letting us hang out in an
Yeah.
overflow room and have
Yeah.
like Q&A after that. This time we wound up, because our panel was on the later side, we wound up going to a lounge space that was that was like adjacent to where the panel happened. And I think we stayed for another hour to an hour and a half just answering questions, talking to people. It was really good fun. And I got to meet a couple cool people, and we wound up like hanging out at the end of the night and just like walking around the convention a little bit. At that point, the expo hall had been closed. So we were just kind of like killing time, hanging out, having fun. And that part I wouldn't trade for anything, because that to me was the most fun. But I will say, here's something I'm very proud of. So
Yeah.
PAX East had a mask policy, which I was 100% behind. They had a mask policy, which means that when we were doing our presentation, since it was a little less formal in the presentation, it was more like a proper panel in that, I was moderating and asking people questions. It was hard to tell which of us was speaking because our faces were covered.
Yeah.
So so I made everybody, these foam cutouts of their PNGs, and I put them on sticks. So every time one of us wanted to talk, we had to hold up our PNG
Oh my
model. So it was exactly like if we were doing a stream collab and our PNG was, like, bouncing around.
God.
It was very cute. I loved it. And what made
Yeah.
it even better, what absolutely sold it, is that, on Friday, Nimbus and I had already decided that we were gonna cosplay as our VTube models. So we were already ready.
Yup.
We convinced Goggle to also cosplay as his VTube model,
Oh no.
which was good because basically his VTube model is dressed up like Pegasus from, Yu-Gi-Oh! So and he already had a Pegasus cosplay from
Oh
Yu-Gi-Oh!
my
Because he
god.
loves the character. So he basically wore
Pegasus.
Pegasus without the wig, and then poor BB didn't have a cosplay of her character, and she definitely didn't have by the time we all, like, realized that this was happening, she was like, "There's no way, I have, like, less than a week." And I was like, "Don't worry, Amazon to the rescue." I ordered her a bee Kigu, 'cause her VTuber is bee themed.
Right.
So I ordered her a bee Kigu that came, like, the day before. I brought it in, blessed that it fit and everything, like, that it was, like, perfectly no troubles, and so
Yeah.
she did the whole presentation in this adorable bee Kigu. It was very
Wow.
cute. We
Oh
had a
my
good
gosh.
time. It was so fun.
Oh man. Oh, looks like we got just quickly reading the chat here.
Mhm.
King Glacian saying, "What is next year's name gonna be? VX Force."
No, I think it'll still be the V Force. Because
Okay.
the V stands for VTuber.
And then, oh, we got Ashes coming
Go
in
Ashes! That's also my
saying
friend.
close to. I know. I met them as well.
Haha.
Well, I
I know
mean,
you did.
I've seen them before, but like I hung out with them
Well,
and
for the
you.
purposes of the fact that this is being recorded as a podcast, I want it on the record that these are my friends.
Yes, on the record.
Yes, this is
Oh,
important. This is
been
important
looking for a
content.
while. Good, good. Yeah,
Yay.
they said close to 2 hours. I guess in reference to the panel last year
Um,
with the overflow
oh, was it really
when
close
you
to 2
get
hours? No, I think it was 1 hour for the panel itself and then an additional hour for the overflow room. So I guess
yeah
in that way, it was close to 2 hours.
right yeah
Um, Definitely this year though, we hung for an addition at least 1 hour after the panel, but it wasn't in an overflow room. It was, like, in front of escalators.
yeah mm,
But we were a big crowd, like, we were a sizable crowd, and what was adorable is, like, all 4 of us were in, like, our own little pockets of people. So we were like, we really had a crowd. It was very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just really happy that there are so many people who are as passionate about VTubing as we are. And it really does highlight, and I'll probably put this in like my post event notes, to the extent that PAX sends out surveys that you can fill out, that th- the attendees at PAX are hungry for more VTuber content. And to the like, I don't know what the
Yeah.
right answer is for getting that content to the people, but to the extent that I can by having VTube panels, I will continue to push them because they are fun. I have a good time, people have a good time, we can have a good time together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yay.
I mean, I essentially got into VTubing through your panel last year,
Yatta!
I think.
That's excellent news. You know what? I'm claiming it.
It must have
Don't
been.
retcon this. Tell me it's true and then never doubt this again.
No, it had to have been last year because PAX East took 2021 off. So yeah, no,
Yes.
last year was when I started VTubing, and it was
Yay!
because of your panel when you guys
Yay!
made it
It's
sound
so accessible.
accessible slash easy, especially when
It
you
is.
mentioned like PNG tubing. And
Yep.
it's like, oh, I kind of have mascot avatars of myself already drawn from years ago. They
Easy
could
to
work, and
start,
then
ready to roll.
yeah, and then I think Vesper helped me out with the software, and then I just
Can confirm.
picked and plugged away, and then yeah,
Actually, I think Vesper helped Ashes with getting started too. That's
yeah,
really funny because Vesper wasn't even on the panel. For those who are wondering, Vesper is another he wouldn't even call himself a VTuber. He's I just harangue him to collab with me
mm,
on Sundays and he PNGs with me. I
yes,
I think he would take umbrage to being accused of being a VTuber
right,
or even a streamer. Harangued, I think is probably more the adjective he would use to describe the situation.
yeah, yeah,
I believe so off cam, Vesper has said, um, that I have manipulated him by exploiting children, which sounds terrible, but let me give you context. The
okay,
reason behind I promise it'll make sense. The reason why he even got into this, fake contract with me is that, as a stretch goal. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a stretch goal, an incentive for an Extra Life campaign I had been running. Um, the incentive was like if I raised $2,500, then I would force Vesper to do a stream with me. And then he agreed to it. And then it wound up becoming more than a stream, even though that wasn't the terms of the
mm,
agreement. I'm not
okay,
complaining because I think it's hilarious.
all
Vesper
right.
is super fun to game with. Um, but I appreciate that, his continued role is to complain that I have trapped him in a Fey bargain.
Oh
I
my
regret
god,
nothing.
Ashes is saying you altered the agreement.
I did alter the agreement. Listen, when it comes to dealing with Fey, you gotta read the fine print.
Yeah.
Please note, in the fine print, it is noted that the fine print may change based on the whims of the Fey.
Oh my god.
Evolving fine
Um,
print.
then you did one more panel, which
I did do
was
one more
the
panel.
cosplay shootout panel
Yes.
with
That was with Nerd Caliber.
yep.
So we had Spectre Cosplay and myself were the cosplay experts. And then we had Nerd Caliber as represented by Wonder Llama and First Person Shooter.
Yep.
So they were the photographer elements. And for those who have not done the PAX East shootout, basically it works like this. We get some photographers to put their name in a hat. We get cosplayers to put their name in a hat. We partner them off, give them 30 minutes to shoot together. We give them a theme that they should be trying to um, arrange their composition based on.
Mm.
We upload their photos and that onto the, like, main screen, And then what happens is the panelists basically critique the photos and award prizes to the winner.
Wow.
It is very fun.
Full
As someone who
blown.
has
Yeah.
formerly participated, I had a very good time. It's a
Yeah.
great way for, like, as a cosplayer or a photographer to meet other people
Yeah.
because you
Absolutely.
literally are forced to meet someone. You are forced to have a photo shoot.
You're forced. Yeah.
You are forced. It is required. Um, it has become so popular because it's happened for a couple years in a row now. It's become so popular that unfortunately we did have to cut off so we only had 13 teams. We couldn't make more teams than that. So unfortunately there were some cosplayers that couldn't get um that didn't get to partner off with photographers. There are some photographers that didn't get to partner off with cosplayers, but it was one of the things that Nerd Caliber's crew learned early when they first did this is that they can't just make unlimited number of teams because
Right.
realistically we need to be able to critique and like that's got to be like we have to be able to get to everybody.
Yeah.
And we just barely got to get to everybody
Oh
and
boy.
have a winner by the time it was like, okay, now we got to go. Bye.
Oh no.
No, it was fine. We paced it well.
Good. Good. What was
It was
the
very fun.
what were some of the winners of the shootout?
So we had 2 winners. One of them was the, panelist winners, and the other one was the audience vote winner. And actually, Ashes in your chat, was one of the cosplayers in the audience view win,
Yeah, she said
which
she had
was
a
very,
great
very
time at the
cool.
shootout. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was super fun. And then the winners of I don't actually know the names of the winners because unfortunately I wasn't the one who was data collecting, but the winners on the panelist side, we chose a photo where the photographer and the cosplayers made use of this very cool orangish light that was
Mm,
present at like a snack concession area in the convention show floor, but they worked so well with the characters, they worked so well with the staging, and the photographer was able to you know, cue up the isometrics so that none of the characters looked blown out and the color really popped. So it was like fabulous camera work, good framing, and good posing. So we were really proud of the people who did that piece. That being
rad.
said, there were quite a few images that I was really enamored with. But all of the images are going to be up on the Nerd Caliber website. So if you are curious and you want to check out all of the entries and you want to see the winners specifically, you can go to nerdcaliber.com and that should be up in the next few days.
Mm, okay.
I want you to know I am not sponsored by Nerd Caliber. I am just a big fan.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to chat with first person shooter for a little bit when you brought over the those impeccable and incredible Soul Rock and Lunatone cosplay. Jesus.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite things is that at this convention, I have been read is not quite the word for it. I have been teased a little bit because I have taken it upon myself to be like the low key advertisement for my friends, especially my friends who may not necessarily remember that they need to advertise for themselves. So, like Props, for example, has a new beveling tool that aids in making like very specific angled bevels for your foam work and your foam crafting and it's
Right.
like very easy like just pop your blade into this tool set the angle and like no stress you get it every time. It's called the Bev All and it's like super super cool and so he tried to like sell it at the panel but he was being like coy about it so it's just like okay if you're going to be coy about it I'm going to make it into a commercial like I'm on it which everyone can check out by going to Rocket Props on Instagram to get more information and direct links for the Bev All if you're interested. And similarly, the same thing happened for Nerd Caliber. So you were talking about how we saw some really great Pokemon cosplayers on the show floor on I want to say Saturday. And when I saw them, I was like, oh my God, you guys look phenomenal. You look so good. And they were like, oh my gosh, thanks, thanks. And I'm like, have you guys had your picture taken by Nerd Caliber yet? They were like, I sitting there, the two of them were like, I genuinely don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I practically dragged them. I was like,
You
come with me.
dragged them over.
Come with me and have your costumes professionally photographed for free, please, because you have such good costumes and these need to be archived. It's free. Like I don't work for them. I'm just a friend. And I drag them across the
These must be
lobby.
documented.
Basically, I dragged them across the lobby and was like, okay, Nerd Caliber, I did a thing. Please photograph these people. Please give them your business card because they've never heard of you. You need to you need to get all their information. Please and thank you. Okay, bye. And I literally, as I dropped them off and was like, okay, have fun. Bye, new convention friends.
like a parent, yeah, you
Bye.
dropped them off.
I dropped them off to school and then I went to work.
Oh my god.
Make sure you check your lunchbox. I left you a note.
Oh my god.
It's right next to the Yoo-hoo juice
Oh
box.
man. All right.
That definitely happened.
That did happen. I was there.
You were witness.
I was a witness. I
I think I
saw
was a fish at that time. I think that's what I was cosplaying as.
yes, you were in your
I think
magic
at that
carp.
point I was maximum comfort and I just kept yelling, "I'm a fish."
Yes. Can't confirm. My ears are still ringing.
I was just so happy to be comfortable. After what I was wearing earlier, I was so happy to be comfortable.
I didn't realize you were wearing Mr. Mime that earlier that day. I'm like, oh
Oh my
no.
God. My Mr. Mime cosplay from Pokemon was a choice because
What a
first of all, I was a
choice.
clown. First of all, I was a clown. Second of all, I was Mr. Mime. So I was determined to have everyone be afraid and or hate me, which was fun. Genuinely a good time. But what made it challenging was I was wearing a jester hat that was supposed to invoke Mr. Mime's bizarre and stupid hairstyle, but instead looked cool and fashionable. But unfortunately, it was very large. And the problem wasn't so much weight as it was just it was unwieldy, especially when I took it to the expo hall because people were bumping into me or I couldn't turn
Yeah.
my head. So turning corners was a challenge because I didn't want to just straight up bonk people.
Yeah.
So by 2 p.m. I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home. And so I went home, swiped my makeup off, changed my clothes, came back in one of my Magikarp hoodie dresses. So it was still it was to me casual cosplay, but it was still very much cosplay.
Sure.
And then I just
Yeah.
was so excited. I was back by 4 p.m. yelling at people that I was a fish because I was just so happy to be comfy.
Yeah. No, I could definitely get that sentiment.
Comfort
Com, com,
is close to
comfort is king.
godliness.
Yeah.
Comfort is king.
Yeah. Um. Let's see. Back to. I mean, there's only really two things I can talk about before we go into other stuff that we both saw at the con. Because I did a
Mm,
lot of hanging around with friends. Was it Friday? It was Friday. Friday, I
uh-huh.
finally met Pasha Cosplay
Oh, really?
after being friends online for 5 years.
Yeah, say.
Where she was one of the NPCs from Breath of the Wild with the crazy flower lady.
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
I
yeah.
think yeah. So it was spot on. It was spot
Awesome.
on. And she had
Awesome.
a sign. She had a sign up. Something about not the flowers or something. But rest assured, me and her are going to get together
Oh,
to do a
good.
podcast together. She even mentioned it, and that made me really happy. It's like, oh, you actually still want to do it.
Of
'Cause
course.
she had a lot of stuff going on that prevented her from doing that.
Sure.
And then Saturday, before I met up with you guys later in that day, I spent a good chunk of the day with Midge Cosplay and Hyperchai
Mhm.
in
They're
there.
great. I love them.
I adore them to bits and pieces, and they were. Oh no, she pressed the button again. Oh no. Oh god. Don't mind me. I just gotta pull up the window and pray to God she Did you hit the button again?
No, I didn't hit any buttons. Something just freaked
Okay.
out.
Oh no. Well, in any case,
All's well, I'm back.
she's back. Um, Midge was dressed up as Sylveon, and
Mhm.
Hypertry was Tails.
Yep,
We
super
just
cute, both of them.
yeah, we walked around a bunch. We actually I we stood in line at the Pokemon booth to get essentially they were showing off, playing the trading card game, which I mean we learned about it, and I gotta tell you, even after I played it and won, did
Mhm.
not understand what the fuck I was doing. Like,
I'm not a big trading card game person, sorry. So,
yeah,
when
just
I got really excited when I saw that there was gonna be a Pokemon booth, and then I that excitement immediately turned to disappointment because it was only a trading card game
yeah, and
booth.
then like
Like,
when you
that's it. And I felt like such a waste of opportunity because it
yeah,
could have they what could have been, especially with all the, like, hype for the DLC of, Pokemon,
Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet and Violet, like, there was so much that could have been that I guess they were just like, "Eh, we already have their money."
This is true.
I feel like Nintendo has pulled back from conventions a lot, and it makes me sad because I really, really like when they're there because they always have high production value, and their booths this year were just kind of meh, you know?
Yeah, they just I mean,
They
aside
have
from
the
the
money to please the fans, they just don't
yeah,
wanna.
just
It just
aside
felt like a
us
tease.
yeah, because then they had another I think it was the Splatoon check-in point where they had a pop-up where you could take photos with Mario and Luigi.
Right.
It was also a center for, I think, the Nintendo Versus competitions that were going on.
Yeah, but it wasn't that I don't know what I was expecting, but it didn't sell
No, I
me.
mean, like, could
It
it
was just meh.
literally, like, the last thing I think we were both there, we would have had to have been because it was, 2020 before the world shut down, and they had the giant Animal
They
Crossing set up.
hyped Animal Crossing, yeah. Their 2020 presence was phenomenal. Their Animal Crossing booth was legendary because at
Yeah.
PAX 2020, it was maybe a couple of weeks. It was not even, it was probably like
I feel like the
2
next
weeks.
week, the 1 to
Yeah,
2 weeks, the world shut down.
it was 2 weeks before the release of Animal Crossing, and they were so big. Their demos were beautiful. They had a mascot, Tom Nook, out and a
Yeah.
mascot, Isabel, out. They had this beautiful, sprawling, interactive area. There was a long line just to get into the area to explore. It
Yep.
was phenomenal.
They
So to
had,
go
like, a
from that and then in a scant 3 years to go to, like, what we had, I'm like, "Nintendo, you have money. You have done
yeah.
beautiful things before. Why are you disappointing me so much? Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, it was
Bring back my beautiful presentations."
yeah, it was yeah. Cause I remember I think they had, like, a storefront too
Oh
where
my god, they had
people bought
everything. I wanted a Breath of the Wild live immersive experience. I wanted a flippin' Epona petting zoo. I don't care. I just wanted it, and I didn't get it, and I sound like, some spoiled little brat, but
first
come
world
on,
problems.
Nintendo, wah, wah.
Yeah,
That's
it
me
was
being a
I
petulant
mean,
child.
to yeah, I yeah,
Wah,
they could have at least have done maybe something big with, like, a setup
wah,
for Tears of the Kingdom, but, like,
wah.
people were half expecting, like, "Oh my god, are they actually gonna show the game?" Like, no!
No. No,
Without
are you
with how
kidding
se
me?
with how
Nintendo
secretive
has that in a vault.
with
First and only time that you are going to see genuine gameplay is the release day.
yeah, and besides, let's say they did. What are the odds that you're gonna play the damn game?
Me
Those line would have
personally
been out the window.
me personally play the game? Oh, you mean, like, what are the
No,
odds that you would get to play the demo at PAX? Oh,
let's say if there was one, yeah.
you would get in line as soon as the expo hall opened, and you'd still be waiting in that line for 5 hours
Yeah, yeah,
because it
that
would
would
be very
be that
popular.
you better hope your Sunday is booked wide open because you wanna
It would
go in
be
there and, like
wicked popular. I don't know why they didn't do it. Nintendo, you could have just had all of our money. How very dare you?
Um, the other game that I got to see, which honestly, this is showing my bias, and it's showing it. I got to talk
Please
with
tell me.
the developers of Coffee Talk Episode 2.
Oh,
I
nice.
specifically got to have an interview with the lead writer
Oh, cool.
for the game, and he would explain to me how he was outsourced, like hired on as a freelancer at the start before being brought on onto the team. Um, they were surprised at the attention and acclaim that the first game got.
Mhm.
And then we were just going over things like I asked him what his favorite character was, and he said the police officer was his favorite one to write. Um, he mentioned his favorite coffee drink that he likes to have from the game, which is
Eh,
the Spanish Sahara.
okay.
And then I detailed like stuff that happened in the demo, mentioning new drinks, new characters, more featured with your phone. They had like a quote unquote like stories option where you could view like a live update from the other characters in the game. Um, and then I actually got to meet with one of the other people from the game where we sort of formed like a budding friendship on Twitter.
Mhm.
So we were very excited to finally meet each other. Um, she like I would explain to them like I'm coming to my appointment a little early just because, and they were like, "Wait, are you blue?" I was like, "Yes." Like, why didn't you say so? It was like we could have gotten you set up and ready to go.
Aw.
Um, so I tried out that game. I tried out another game, which is like a tactics war mech game that they're also helping create,
Oh,
and
cool.
that got me a free tote bag. And
Nice.
then the audience is not going to see this because I'm not turning on my webcam for this. But then she goes, one of the girls at the booth goes, "Do you have her apron?" Because they
Oh,
have
I heard
licensed
about
merch.
this. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so she literally goes behind the table and she pulled out a coffee talk apron wrapped up, and they were like, "Here you go." And I was like, "No way!" And
Yeah,
she's like,
now you have
"Yeah,
an
take it,
apron.
take it." It's like, "Okay, thank you."
Excellent. Exquisite.
So I now have an apron that apparently I was telling my friend that like give me an excuse to cook more if I'm gonna wear it
There
more
you
because
go. Now you have to.
I haven't worn it yet, so I'll take a picture
Well, that
at
means you
some
haven't
point.
cooked yet.
Yeah.
Get cooking.
Um. Also, somewhat similar. I just found it similar in presentation to a game called Papers, Please, where
Wait, tell me more.
essentially like as you serve the characters your coffee, sometimes they can actually leave you items. Either
Okay. All right.
they
That's what you mean.
either they forget items or
Mhm.
they leave you items to give to other characters later on in the game. Um,
Anytime a game is compared to a Lucas Pope game is a good time.
I mean, like I had previously played the demo when they
Yeah.
had released it out for free, and then they actually. Oh, this was what am I reading here? Oh, so I was curious about so like the music immediately brought me back. It's like I listen to the coffee talk music as like my bedtime music when I go to sleep. It's that
Those chill
relaxing.
lo-fi stuff, man.
Yeah. So I asked, about the music and like
Yeah.
unsure if the lead writer was able to answer this. And they're like, "Oh no, the music was actually like done in a couple of months." It's like, "What?"
All right.
Okay. And then
Somebody
I
was
might
busy.
actually I might
Lots of
actually
all-nighters.
yeah, I might actually reach out to the composer on Twitter to ask more questions because
You
he
should.
gave me their he gave me his and then like I got their demo kit
Cool.
and then all free bags of coffee, instant
Ta
coffee that I've cooked that I've already
Now yeah,
drank
now
up.
you can cook it with your apron.
Well, I mean they're all gone now, but no,
Shh.
you're right. I could. That was
Let me
another thing I
believe.
got. I got
Let me believe.
I got a bag of coffee beans
Good.
themed around drinking coffee at a tabletop D&D night.
Oh, fun.
It was like a many worlds tavern, I believe, was the vendor that was there.
That sounds right. Yeah, that
So
sounds right.
I got their dragon's nest flavored coffee.
Oh, nice.
So it's very fruity and floral notes in it. Very good.
Can I tell you the most self-congratulatory thing I did at PAX?
All right, what'd you do?
I purchased merch that I myself was responsible for making.
Context. What merch? What merch?
Okay, you know how do you know the booth I can talk. You know the booth Foam Brain Games? They're
Wait,
one of the dice booths.
I think I bought something from them for my
You
friend.
probably did. They're the booth that had the inflatable unicorn pool toy that
Was
was just
was
like
was
lousy with
was
dice.
was one of their products like dice bags
Yes,
that
I think.
had like class names embroidered onto them?
I don't remember. It's
That's
possible.
probably it was probably them because I brought my friend a dice bag with the druid class emblem on it because that's the character that they're gonna roll in D and
That
D with
also
me in.
sounds like a product that they would have. So I don't know definitively, but it sounds like them.
Okay, so
So
foam brain.
I'm friends with the owners.
Okay.
Many years ago, I was vending at a convention that they were vending at, and they hired me as one of their graphic artists to
Ooh,
design enamel pins for them. And so I designed some enamel pins for them. It has to be like 10 or so designs that I did for them over like a period of a year.
right.
And they had 3 of them in reprint available for purchase. And one of them was exactly the one that I wanted. It was my Pride lion pin. It's literally a rainbow lion. It says Pride underneath it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's so cute. Like, that was a design I did, like, on a whim. They didn't even tell me they wanted it. I was just like, "Hey, I drew this because you wanted to do some pride pins, and then I decided to draw this. Do you wanna buy this design?" And they were like, "Sold!" Um, so I had lent my pride pin to a friend of mine a week or so ago, and she has forgotten to return it, but I miss it because I put my pride lion on my office lanyard. And so I was like, "Good lord, I want my Pride Lion back. Let me just rebuy one." And so now my friend can keep the original and I'll have this one.
Yeah.
Perfection. And then there were 2 unicorn pins that I had made for them in the past, but they reissued them and with glitter.
Oh, no.
So I was like, "Heck yes, I'm gonna rebuy them, but the glitter edition, like, oh my god, that's so
Glitter
baller."
edition.
So I check out, right? I spend the money. And then I happen to see one of the owners, like, walking past, and I was just like, "Oh, Andrew, hi." And then I start, like, talking and chatting him up, and I was like, "Look at me, I'm being so, like, self-congratulatory." And he was just like, "Wait, you already bought that? I would've just given them to you for free." And I was like, "No, let me support the company."
Yeah.
But then we started talking a little bit and, I'll reach out to him again, but he was interested in collabing again. So potentially you'll get to see more of my designs available for Foam Grain Games. They treat me very well. They wind up buying my designs, so I don't get royalties um, for everything that's like every design that's
Sure.
purchased or like every pin that's purchased, I don't get royalties. But they know that if they sell out of my pins, then that means that I'm a very important and valued artist and they might wanna work with me again.
Again
So
and again and again.
exactly,
Yeah, that's
exactly,
the point.
exactly. So that
Yeah.
was my self-congratulatory moment at PAX, and I regret nothing. I was very
I mean,
excited.
clearly I had no idea. Otherwise, I probably would have looked at more at the pins. But
Yeah, don't
wow,
worry. I'll
I'll
like
remember that for next time.
at some juncture, I will send you all of like the pantheon of pins I've designed for them so you can be like, "Oh my god," 'cause they're
Yes.
very cute. Um,
Um.
I have some games that I saw that I want to like just shout out as being
Sure.
worthy to
Give
keep an
me
eye
one.
on.
Cause yeah, give me like one. We'll get to that. I promise.
Okay. Okay.
The last place I visited on my sheet here was a company called Sub 2R. They handle making equipment. Particularly they were showing off their special glasses that they've made that actually like help give off melatonin to help you sleep as you like
Neat.
game and like either game or content creation. So there was that. This really elaborate like camera mounting system that they have, as well as a portable green screen that
Okay.
they were showing off, and they were showing off videos of like bringing the green screen to the beach and having it work, and like through like external battery packs and whatever.
That's cool.
So it's very interesting, very fascinating stuff. Um, the price it had me a little bit shocked, but though not completely surprised. So I held off on buying it. Said the guy who's going to be spending close to $400 on the new Switch.
It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
It'll be fine. No, no, no. New job. I
New
earned it.
job. Everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Everything's
Totally
fine
fine.
now.
And then, so in addition to the dice bag, I actually brought my other friend a booth. I believe it was Geekify.
Mhm.
And stuff. It's funny. So I bought for my friend a cloth map of the map of Mordor or Middle
Neat.
Earth for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Huge, huge Tolkien nerd. But the other thing that they had was these books. They had like classic books like Aragon, like The Hobbit, The Silmarillion, in like leather bound, like custom made leather bounded.
That's cool.
One of the friends that I was with on Thursday, we stopped Thursday or Friday. We stopped by the booth because I wanted to buy the map, and one of my friends is hugely into The Witcher, and they
Do they have a
saw one.
copy?
They had a copy of the book. However, they were they essentially signed up to essentially have their own version custom made, as well as being told that yeah, we're gonna look into maybe doing the other books.
Yo.
There's apparently like 8 books.
Yo.
There's like 8 books in the Witcher series,
Oh, yeah, the
and
series is huge. It's basically, like, one shy of being the Dark Tower.
these and like they're not cheap. So
No.
my so I did not expect this. Like I dragged the two of them with me to like buy the map, and they were just staring at like the books, and then like they also have like Neopet like tapestry, or maybe there was another book I'm thinking of. But anyway, so she she like begrudgingly buys the first book and like asked to be put on a list for the other books, and I go, I'm sorry or you're welcome
Yeah, not sure
for
which
how much
one,
money
whichever
you're
one
probably
works.
going to be spending.
Yeah, 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 that's funny. That's really
So,
funny.
um, all right. What game did you happen to play?
Okay, so here are my top 4 that I played or saw be played, that I'm, like, the most hyped for in no particular order. Um, Romancevania is a game that is, like it says on the tin, a, Metroidvania game. The advantage of it is
Oh, there's a
that
funny
it
story about this.
has it's already out, so you can play it now. It
Well,
has a
okay.
romance element to it. Like, so it's somewhere between, like, a Metroidvania game and a little bit, like, not quite dating sim, but, like, you kinda get it. Um,
Oh my
so
god.
it has some serious waifus and husbandos, and not for
Oh
nothing.
boy.
Yeah, did you see pictures?
Well, no.
Oh,
The hilarious thing, and I'll let you continue. I promise. The hilarious thing, I was telling my coworkers, about
uh-huh,
the con,
uh-huh.
like how it was. He goes over the phone and he's like, "Huh, PAX East?" Like, yeah. One of my friends was at the con, debuting a
Uh-huh.
game that they were working on. Romance It's like, what?
Oh, no way. So you work with someone, yeah, well, 'cause
I
what's funny
work with,
is
yeah, one of
the
my coworkers
devs
is
live, like, very close by. They're locals to Massachusetts.
so my coworker is going to reach out to his friend who worked on Romancevania to maybe hook me up with either game footage, copy of the game, or like me being able to ask questions. Like, holy shit, yes, please.
Yeah, I'm actually reaching out to them because, me and the devs got to talking because there are 2 devs, they're a husband-wife duo. We got to
Okay.
talking, and I might be cosplaying, and by might, I mean, like, I'm definitely gonna cosplay. I'm gonna be cosplaying as one of the waifus, and so, they're gonna get me some, 360 views of the character so that I can
Oh
have a more accurate
wow.
cosplay, which is very, very cool. What was very funny is there was a T-shirt on Sunday that I, like, wanted to purchase because it was very funny, and it was one of the T-shirts that they had that they were selling. So I went up to, like, the dev because they're a small company, and the dev was also manning the booth, and so I went up and I was, like, trying to talk about, like, getting a T-shirt, but we wound up just talking about other things, including the fact that I was gonna be cosplaying, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, my wife was telling me about that," And so then just like on a lark, he's like, "What t-shirt size are you?" And he grabs the t-shirt that I wanted, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is perfect," because I was literally I got your attention
Aw.
because I wanted to buy this t-shirt. So and it is wicked comfy too, so I'm a big fan. So that I wanted to spotlight that for a moment. I wanted to spotlight the game Haunt and Seek. That one's not out yet.
You've
Haunt and
mentioned this on your
Seek,
stream, yep.
yeah, it is, by a very tiny company called Small Games. I think
Go
they're like
figure.
I think they're literally like 2 people strong on the dev side. Obviously, they have more people, like, who actually developed the game, but just, like, they're a very tiny company. They wanted to make a game that had spooky vibes, but not scary vibes, which I really need in my life. So, basically, they pitch it as being somewhere between, like, Haunted Mansion meets Luigi's Mansion, but also hide and seek.
Mhm.
It is meant to be like collaborative LAN party realness. It is a up to 4v1, where up to 4 people can play as ghosts and 1 person plays as the mortal. The ghosts have to hide stuff in a mansion,
Okay.
and the mortal has to find the stuff. The mortal is first person perspective, which makes it very challenging to, like, actually navigate the house, whereas the ghosts have basically, like, almost more like a top-down perspective.
Okay.
So it's easier for the ghosts to navigate, and the ghosts win by haunting the mortal enough, and the mortal wins by either, like, capturing all the ghosts, basically by highlighting them with their flashlight or finding all of the hidden items,
Okay.
and it is a wildly fun game. I appreciate it again because it's collaborative, it's got, like, so much opportunity for multi-stream, um, and what I like the most is it is a spooky game, not a scary game, so I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, I've got 2 other games that I wanna just highlight real quick.
Sure.
One of them is a corgi rescue game. I haven't actually gotten to demo this one because it's only 3 months into dev, um, but it is a very cute game where you play as a corgi. Uh, I that like, that it's exactly what I want in a game where you are a little tiny puppers with no knees, and what I like about the company is that, a portion of the proceeds go specifically to
That does sound
rescuing.
familiar.
Yeah.
They
They
reached
had
out.
they had a presence last year, and they had a mobile game, but this game
Yes.
is a PC game.
They reached out if I wanted to stop by the booth. It didn't really grab me or interest me at the time, but I definitely
Well,
know
it's very
what you're
kawaii
talking about.
des. I have a streamer pass, like, for the demo. They have it in a little gold envelope. That's another booth where I bought some merch from because they had some very cute Korg merch, and I'm a sucker for cute.
Yep.
Speaking of sucker, that's my 4th game that I wanted to highlight at PAX. It is the sequel to Sucker for Love. Have you heard of the game Sucker for Love? I'm based on your silence, I feel like you have not, and
Wasn't
I
I
am
with you at the
devastated.
booth
You may have been,
for this? Maybe.
so
When did you see this?
last year, Sucker for Love, uh, 1 was being promoted and demoed at PAX East, and it came out maybe in the summertime or, like, late summer, I think it came out, maybe just in the early fall,
Mm,
and it is basically a Cthulhu Mythos horror dating sim.
I feel like I was at
It's
the booth of the
so
dev that was
good.
there. Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
yeah.
so good. It is point and click. I love it. And I was a big fan of the game itself. What was very cool is apparently there is a sequel, not just 1, there are 2 sequels coming, but there is 1 sequel that's coming sometime in 2023. We got to talk to the artist/game dev, and he is amazing. I could talk to that guy for hours. We practically did talk to him for hours. It was
Yeah.
at least an hour that we just, like, hung around talking to him because we
Right.
just got into the weeds, like, we loved it. Um, he works for, like, there's an umbrella company that, basically, adopts baby, devs that are looking to get their spooky games off the ground. So the umbrella
Oh,
company features spooky games.
that's really funny actually because I think Toge Production, the people that did Coffee Dog, they do a similar
Yeah,
like like
it's very common.
like a similar fund to get like small game devs, specifically ones out of Indonesia, to like get their games abroad.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly. So that's what's up with Sucker for Love. So Sucker for Love 2 is coming out sometime in 2023. The protagonist is different, which is very exciting. It's a whole new set of Cthulhu Mythos, waifus that you can romance. So that game is mostly, like it's pretty far along in production, so you can expect the greatness there. Um, Apparently, they're already in contract for Sucker for Love 3, but there's not much information that
Oh my
the,
god.
artist/dev could tell me, but I am very excited is all I can say. The gameplay is a little bit more interactive than the previous game, and so I am very much looking forward to it. So that's my little hype. Those are the 4 titles that I have my eyeballs on, and you should too.
Yeah. All right. Um, the other thing that I have written down here, and I kind of just quickly like jotted down stuff when I was taking a break,
Mm,
just sitting down and charging my phone. Like cosplay themes that kind of dominated this year. Yeah,
Pokemon
it's
and
interesting.
Genshin?
Yep, Genshin's on that list. Some League of Legends, Pokemon
Yeah, there's
Master.
always League, but it wasn't as big as it has been in previous years.
Well, that was the thing that I would almost kind of looking around is like, I think either I wasn't looking hard, I probably wasn't looking hard enough, but like certain days are probably just better primed to like debut cosplay because
I'm
Thursday,
gonna
Friday, I feel like I saw
I'm gonna tell you
nothing.
right now, there was a lot less cosplay this year than in previous years.
So I wasn't imagining it.
You're
Okay.
not imagining it because I asked the photographers at Nerd Caliber who position themselves in the front lobby taking photos of people as they come
Right.
in or, like, invite them in, they were saying that the cosplay has been a bit on the decline in the last few years, and there's no like, they don't know the reason any better than I do, but it's
Yeah.
just it's just an observation is that there's not as much or it's not there are more the ratio of people cosplaying to people in, civilian clothing is it's going down.
Huh. Okay.
I'm sure there are one of a
Did they
billion reasons why, but,
right.
but you're not going crazy.
Did they specifically mention like the cosplay presence at PAX East or just like in general?
At PAX East was the conversation because, like, of course, you go to
Right.
places like KatsuCon or Anime Boston, and
Yeah.
you're gonna be lousy with cosplay. You're gonna be, like, nose deep in cosplay, and that is because that's what those cons are like, that's their main draw, or at least for
Position geared
Katsu.
toward yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. That's what they are about. PAX East used to be super flashy, really big debuts, cosplay
Yeah.
everywhere, but it's been decreasing in, like in recent years according to Nerd Caliber, and I trust them because, again, they see more than I do, and I literally when I asked them, I was like,
This
"Hey,
is this is
you
true.
guys know everybody. Is it me or" and they were like, "Nope, it's not you. This is a trend that we are observing as well, like, things are a little bit slow, like,
I gotta
in previous years, they were very busy, lots of photo shoots, but this year, it was a lot slower."
I almost want to say that this most likely probably started when the pandemic started.
Probably. It probably has
That's my
some
gut
elements of
reaction.
pandemic.
Yeah.
It probably has some elements of, like in the past, conventions were the way to get your costume seen. but with the rise of increasing reach from social media, like TikTok, Insta, Facebook, well, less so Facebook, but um, there's not as much of a need to use a convention to debut your costume. Um,
Mm,
and then of course there's, just burnout.
this
Cosplay
is true.
a couple years ago really hit like the cultural mainstream. And when it hit the mainstream, it became like hugely popular. Like people like there used to be a time where you said the word cosplay and folks were like, "What is that?" And that wasn't so long ago, but now you say the word cosplay and everyone knows what you mean. Like cosplay
Yeah.
has become shorthand for just dressing up as anything. So Halloween, it's not your Halloween costume, it's what are you cosplaying as? Like it's become a mainstream word. And
Yeah.
so when it became mainstream, you had a huge influx of participants, which I think happened like its peak was maybe a couple years ago. But now you're just starting to see, like with anything, if the fad is starting to dwindle and it's not maybe as popular as it used to be, and that's fine. It's possible that cosplay is going to re-enter that dormant period where, you know, it's back to being a subgenre of our culture as opposed to like the main event, you know
Maybe.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't wanna be fatalistic about cosplay. I just
Oh
think
my
that
God, is my show nearing its final days?
no, no, I don't think it's ever gonna go away because I just want you to remember that the Star Wars conventions of the 1970s were very strong with cosplay. I don't think cosplay is going anywhere, but I do think that conventions may not see as like especially conventions that are geared to a very specific genre like video games may not see as much cosplay as they have in years past.
I could
I would
see
love
that.
to be
Yeah.
wrong though.
No,
This is
yeah.
just me talking out my butt.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, no, I definitely agree with everything you said and you heard from Nerd Caliber. And good. It's good that I'm not going crazy.
You're not
Because,
going
yeah.
crazy. It's not just you. A lot of us were
Yeah, they
like,
were,
"Hey, it's a little quiet here on the cosplay front, right?"
yeah. I saw like Pokemon Star Wars mashups.
Oh yeah.
Um, Elden Ring had a presence.
Yep.
Not too surprised. God of War had.
Lots of Silent Hill and Resident Evil stuff, but that's to be expected with the upcoming game
I
re-releases.
didn't see any Silent Hill, but I did see some Resident
What?
Evil stuff. Yeah.
Did you
No,
not see 1 billion pyramid heads?
you did?
Oh my god.
I saw none.
Oh my god. I saw like practically a roving band of pyramid heads.
I was looking in the wrong spot.
You were looking in the wrong direction.
I would know.
Oh,
The
oh,
entire.
you weren't looking in the fog. That's where they were. They were in the fog.
Uh, I was
That's
just in the expo
yeah,
hall every single
yeah, yeah.
day.
You
Yeah.
had to you had to go into the fog.
Uh-huh.
That was your problem.
I saw a
Next
couple of
time.
Leons,
Sure.
a couple of Avas.
Yeah.
Uh, saw a couple of Kratos with no boy.
Yeah, one of my friends dressed up as Kratos.
You know, we saw. I think you mentioned this in your stream yesterday, but we both saw a Ralsei from Deltarune.
Yes, and he was so what a pure
Yeah,
cosplayer and what a pure costume. It was a very good costume, but the cosplayer themselves was just like so adorable. They were so cute and kind.
yeah. I saw a Cuphead, probably the same Cuphead every single day. Um, which hey, more power to them. If they're able to wear the same thing for 3 days straight without washing it. Oh my god,
You don't know they didn't wash it. You're just guessing.
I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. And expected Breath of the Wild Zelda was there.
Oh, of course.
Expected. Those were pretty much like the main series where I saw a lot of cosplay from, honestly.
I think Genshin was probably the main one that I saw.
Genshin was the dominant force. Like Genshin
And
overtook.
it's convenient because there are a lot of online stores that sell Genshin cosplay. So that particular game has been more accessible for cosplaying because like there are some games where like you just can't really cosplay from them because you're either making the cosplay yourself or you're closet cosplaying it.
Right.
but because you can also purchase Genshin cosplay and they look good, you had some folks who made theirs, some folks who bought theirs, some folks who closet cosplayed theirs, but no matter how you slice it, it was just more prevalent.
Yeah. Ugh. What else? What else about the con? Hmm. Do you have anything?
No, I gave you my exhaustive list. And I mean exhausted. Your girl's tired.
Yeah. 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 I'm getting there. I'm getting there too. But I mean, it's definitely a con that I'm going to continue to go to because I always have
Oh,
such a fun
naturally.
time. Um, definitely like I mentioned earlier, like plan for next year, like closer hotel, stay till Monday, maybe try my hand at a Smash Brothers tournament if they have one again, because apparently they were giving away $10,000 at the
Holy
tournament.
Moses, that's good. Hey, somebody got a lot of money. Good for you.
Yeah, uh, yeah, they had a
One of my
Splatoon.
friends straight up got a new computer.
Yeah, yeah. One of our like Spectra literally won $1,000 to
Oh, I
Newegg.
wasn't I wasn't even talking about him.
No, no, I know. No, I think your friend ran into us
Yeah,
when
so
they yeah.
Intel basically like looked at her computer because she did the BYOC, bring your own computer. Intel looked at her computer, was like, that's old and outdated. Let's do better. And then invited her up on stage and she designed her own computer in front of everybody on stage as part of the Intel booth. And she walked away with like, a tricked out top of the line new computer for freebies. And I'm just
Fucking
like,
insane. Oh my god.
so happy for you, friendo. Super
Oh my
jello,
god.
super happy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I never again, I get just because of like the stuff that I'm there at the con to do, so like I don't really have the time to like, enter the raffles or go back and
It's
like
some people do those things, some people do other things.
yeah.
Like I'm sure there are other people who would love to have the time to interview game devs and talk to cosplayers, but they don't. It's everyone has a completely vastly different PAX
It's just the
experience.
way of everyone's life. Like
Right.
I
There's a
know
whole tabletop area that people take advantage of even after the expo floor closes. That game, like tabletop gaming, still goes strong for hours on end. So like
yeah.
there are so many different experiences that you can have at PAX.
Yeah.
That's why I love like going to that con.
Exactly. Yeah, there's literally something for everyone there. It was
Yeah.
I think what was it? Midge and Hypertry were telling me how I believe they went to the no, they went to the Final Fantasy 14 panel, but they wanted to go to the 16 panel because Final Fantasy 16 had a panel there.
Yeah, there were some pretty big Final Fantasy panels happening.
Yeah.
I think they were all on the main stage
Yeah.
because those are big. I
Yeah,
didn't go to any main stage things this year.
I didn't go to any panels, period. I
How
was too
dare?
I
How
was too
dare?
don't no, no,
Oh, I'm not
no,
gonna shame
no.
you. I'm just being silly.
I thought you were gonna shame me for not going to your panel.
No. You got
Okay.
stuff to do. I don't require my friends to go to my panels. It is nice if they can, but I'm not gonna require it because that would be psychotic of me.
Yeah. um, shoot, what was I gonna say?
That I'm great. Thank you.
This is yeah, you are great. You're
Thank
wonderful,
you.
even.
Oh, thank
Um,
you. That is so kind to say and completely unprompted too.
totally unprompted.
Totally unprompted.
Um, shit. Now, whatever.
I have that effect on people.
um, something about I get the Midge and Hypertry stayed and watched like the Splatoon tournament that they had going on.
Oh, yeah.
Um, they were Hypertry was trying to talk herself into not being guilty and or not feeling like she missed out on the giant Final Fantasy 16 bag that everyone got when they went to the panel. She's
Yeah,
like,
it's
I
it's
don't need
easy
it.
it's
I didn't
easy to
need it.
get a little bit FOMO for stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably still gonna get the game, but it only comes out in like 3 months.
Sure, it's coming out real soon.
You know. Um. Oh, I guess to wrap it up, what did you think of? Because I personally loved it. I mean, like I got a hoodie and comfy jogger lounge pants from the merch booth. But what did you think of the overall theme for PAX this year?
I loved the theme this year. It
Yeah,
was retro VHS tape, blockbuster theming, and I loved it. I was actually talking, I think you were part of the conversation when I was talking about how there was the year at PAX where it was like 90s theme and the badges looked like gack, and just from a graphic design point of view, it looked horrible. This year I had the absolute opposite effect. It was nostalgia done right.
it
Everything
really
looked
was.
like it was late '80s, early '90s in the
Yeah,
signage, but it was, like, really, really well done. It was, like, even if you didn't know that they were, like, referencing Blockbuster in some of their signs or referencing, like, a VHS tape, in some of their signs, it just looked good. So my
yeah.
props to the design department. I thought the theme was very, very cool. Not that it was integrated in anything other than just like the visuals of signage and badge design.
And some merch, because I mean,
Oh yeah, there
that
were
was
some merch because they were pins that were cassette tapes, and that was
there
cool as
was
heck.
because that yeah, this was a legit conversation I had with Midge and Hyperchai, where we were talking about like I was telling them like, oh yeah, I got the hoodie, I got the jar. I'm like, oh lucky you, they're already sold out of the hoodie, and
They
I really
sold out
wanted
of
it.
stuff. They always sell out very quickly of their theme merch, but this year even more so than previous years because I think a lot of people were really enamored with the design choices. I
Yeah,
never buy the pack specific merch because I just am not super motivated by things
right.
like that,
I
but
I was yeah, I was half motivated because I even like donated slash got rid of a pair of joggers and some hoodies of mine to make room for the
nice.
ones that I grabbed because
Nice.
I got too many hoodies and that'll never stop.
No such
Um,
thing.
but
Get more.
even last year with this, I love the space cadet theme of last year
I'm trying to remember it. Oh yeah, that was fun. I did like that one.
because I got a T-shirt from the merch booth
Yeah.
theme because I think because we were talking about you mentioned that there was one 90s S theme where you said the badge had like what gack or slime on it.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like gack or slime, and it just, like,
Yeah,
graphically, it just looked awful.
no, I was saying like I don't think I liked too much the summer camp theme they had one year.
Oh, see, I could get behind that, um, but again, it's what is your cup of tea for, like,
Exactly.
for that kinda stuff. So every year is a new opportunity to see, like, "Oh my gosh, am I gonna love it or am I gonna hate it?" And if you don't love
Yeah,
it, it's
it's
not a big deal because it's not overly, like, in your face pervasive. It just means, like, am I gonna fight people on Friday to get in line for merch? That's all.
I'm curious to not only because
This year, the merch sold out really fast. That's all I'm gonna say. So
right.
I think this year's, merch was well accepted.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lounge long pants I have, and it's like, yeah, this is good design
Good
overall.
stuff.
'Cause I'm trying to think if PAX East is the first of the Penny Arcade Expos to hit this year, or does one come before it? Because I'm curious as to like how soon are we gonna see the next year's theme?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not
I don't,
sure.
because I don't know if this would they debut the theme, or maybe they do it ahead of time,
I
like
don't know.
as they ramp up. I don't know. Have to wait and see, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Find out at con.
yeah, yeah. You saying that got me I'm gonna get even more hyped as the next wave comes by. Like, oh, what's the theme gonna be? What's the theme gonna be? Are we gonna love it or are we gonna hate it?
We'll find out.
We'll find
Mhm.
out. And on that note, I think that's Ashley's saying it was 2019. I think with the slime. Yeah, that checks
Ah,
out.
yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. on that note, I think this is a perfect time to wrap up
Sounds good to
um,
me.
the episode. Hope I didn't keep you too long.
Yeah, I gotta
Um,
make dinner.
that's okay. You know what? You
Can I
got
borrow
food to
your
look forward
apron?
to. Put on my apron. I already had dinner, but I'm definitely gonna put on my apron at some point. I'm definitely gonna take a picture and put it on Instagram or something.
Do it, do it, do
Um,
it.
so again, Mink, thank you so much for joining me. So
Very
now
welcome.
it is the fingers crossed because the new way we're doing this with how I'm using StreamYard because now I gotta quickly figure out and hope to God that the VOD is saved so I can download it and upload it
Don't
to
be
my
a beefy
podcast.
file. Good luck.
Yeah. So in this Mink, where can people find you?
You can find me on pretty much every social media platform under Mink the Satyr. And if you want to catch my Twitch streams, it's twitch.tv/Mink the Satyr. I stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Sundays. Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Oh my God, I know my own Twitch schedule. Don't worry about it.
All
Um, Mondays and Thursdays are at 6:30, and Sundays are at 2:30.
right. And then for me, you can follow me at Blue Lightning Cost pretty much everywhere as well. As far as Twitch is concerned, with how things have been going lately in my own personal life, I'm willing to experiment possibly streaming on the weeknights now, since that's where a lot of people get their traction from apparently.
Mm-hmm.
No one shows up on the weekends. Well,
Aw.
not many for me anyway.
Aw.
So I want to give the weeknights a shot, starting with this coming Friday.
Nice.
It just all hinges on the fact that I work from home, so I
Yeah.
don't have to worry about driving home and then feeling
Jealous.
extremely wiped out afterwards. But
So jealous.
yeah, um, yeah, that is it for me. Please stay tuned for more episodes of Cosplay Bites. They are coming. They are planned as I continue the road to episode 100. So
Eee.
this is 92.
Oh my
Slow,
God.
slowly, surely getting there.
Super exciting.
All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, listening, or tuning into the Twitch stream. And I will catch you all next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.